Welcome to Discovering. It's hard to beat fresh vegetables from the garden or from the local farm. We'll take a look at some places to get them.
Everything is all just one day old before you get it.
And we'll take a look at a couple of different ways to taste them. Sit back and relax. It's Monday night and time for Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forests thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
Produce, whether you buy it from a roadside stand or the local supermarket, it all comes from a farm somewhere. Somebody put in the time, the planning, the hard work, and the care to grow it. The question is, where? As a rule, the closer that farm is to your table, the fresher that produce will be.
The great thing about locally grown produce is it tastes better. It hasn't traveled thousands of miles to get here. Living in the UP, many of you know what the produce is like if you go shopping at a traditional grocery store. But if you want to encourage your taste buds to really have a wonderful experience when you're eating, you can eat the freshest food possible and you sample what the local farmers are growing in our community. There's some wonderful things happening.
You'll find small farms across the Upper Peninsula using a variety of creative methods to put fresh and tasty locally grown produce on our tables.
In a hoop house, we can really take advantage of the warm summer temperatures to grow things that really like it hot. So we've got tomatoes and peppers, eggplants, cucumbers, and some melons. And in order to take advantage of the space that we've paid for, we grow things vertically. So if you think about how much space a tomato plant takes up in a cage, well, when we grow them this way, we can get a lot more in the house.
A great place to connect with local farmers directly is the farmers market.
We grow a wide variety of produce. You know, growing things local, it's very rewarding because the food is so much healthier, so much fresher. You know, the nutrient value is still there. You know, nothing's waxed or preserved, or it's just you know, mainly the nutrients are there because it's so fresh. So we're real happy to be a part of the farming community out here. It's a great farming community. Lots of great farmers that like to help each other out and you know, share knowledge and experiences. It's just a great place to be.
Yeah, thank you.
Regardless of where you live, farm fresh produce should not be far away. This time of year, you can bet somewhere nearby there's a roadside stand selling a variety of fresh fruits and vegetables of all sorts.
The good reason to buy it from a roadside stand is because of the freshness. It's picked and brought right in out of the field on a daily basis. Some of it's out of the Traverse City area. We have corn and everything from the local area, tomatoes from the local area. The biggest share of our product is right from here out of this area, within a 50-mile range.
If you're anywhere near the Marquette area, I would suggest checking out the Marquette Food Co-op.
So the Marquette Food Co-op is a food cooperative that is owned by over 5,000 people here in the Upper Peninsula. And we have a mission that includes many things, but one of them is a commitment to local. That means that we're going to support local businesses in our community, and we're going to make sure to support local farms. It's really important to us here at the Marquette Food Co-op that we have a robust and vibrant local food economy. And that means that even the produce you can buy here at the Marquette Food Co-op is coming from area farms. Sometimes people want to know, how do you find local products here at the Marquette Food Co-op? But we really try to make it easy for you. I'm standing here in the produce department right now where every local item coming from a UP farm is labeled with a green tag that says local. So you can look for those green tags not only in produce but in other places throughout the store to make sure that you're buying a UP grown, harvested, raised, or produced item From the Marquette Food Co-op, although local can mean a lot of different things that are also good, local means the UP.
We'll be back at the food co-op in a bit. Right now, it's a trip to the kitchen of Mary Malnor for some ideas on turning your fresh produce into something tasty. We'll start out with some shopping.
Now you can sell them. Awesome. I need a pint of tomatoes for sure.
1.5.
Thank you. Did you bring me my Thai basil?
To not only Thai basil, I have thyme, lemon balm, oregano, lemon basil, a little bit of rosemary and lavender. So that's
Perfect.
You can use whatever you want out of it.
I'll take this.
It just grows.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy.
I'm looking for tiny little zucchini. Okay, I need.
I got a few over here too.
Yeah, give me one yellow and one green one.
One yellow and one green one?
Yep. What you need?
$1.
Okay, I've got some peaches and some raspberries and some peas. Okay, and then I want a dozen, or give me 6 corn. Well, I think we got enough to go home and make some nice, make a nice dinner. So this time of year we've got all kinds of fresh produce, and we're going to be making a couple of different things with tomatoes and basil because that's what we've got a lot of harvested. We just came from farmer's market and we've got all kinds of these gorgeous rainbow tomatoes. They're so sweet. I love the different colors. We got some red onions, we got some sweet onions, and we have just a little bit of basil. And I like to mix the 2 different onions because they both have different flavor. This is going to give it a little bit sharp heat, and the sweet vidalias are just what they are, sweet. So we're going to use half of each, and we're just going to dice it nice and small. These also have a higher sugar content, so there's a little more water in them, where the yellow onions, the red onions don't have quite the high sugar content. Now for these gorgeous tomatoes. When I go to farmer's market too, I like to utilize all of the vendors. I try to buy something from each one of them and help support so that they continue to come next week, next year. We're really fortunate to have local vendors that are working so hard. I find the golden sun drops really sweet. Cherry tomatoes taste like your regular garden tomato, and these beautiful little zebras. Check this one out. So we're going to have all these beautiful colors. It's almost like a Christmas, red, white, and green. I like to chop them up nice and small so they'll fit in a nice either cracker or a piece of bread. These are plum tomatoes. So I really like to mix some different ones in here. So the Romas are usually a paste or a sauce tomato. The beef steaks or the early girls, the big round ones that most people think of a garden tomato. Tomato sandwiches, we live off of those in the summer. They're so good. We've got some little pear-shaped or oval ones, some round ones. When I see something at the market, I always try to buy it just to see what the difference is and try to find a way to utilize it when I get home. So this is beautiful. So I'm just gonna pull off some of the big outer leaves. And I like a lot of basil and a bruschetta. It's got kind of a licorice flavor to it. Good in tomato sauce for pizzas, things like that if you're going to can tomato sauces. Basil's not that hard to grow, but you do have to catch it. Like right here, you can see where it's starting to flower. If you didn't harvest it, then it would go to seed, and then it would get a little bit bitter. So you want to catch them before they start to flower, as with all of like the herbs. Basil is pretty fragile too, so that whole bowl, I'm gonna have to process that tonight. You can leave it in the refrigerator, put the stems in water like you would flowers, and it'll stay in the fridge for a couple of days, but you really want to use it right away, otherwise it's gonna turn black and you'll lose it. So that's gonna go right in here. A little bit of pink salt and a little bit of pepper. I'm gonna drizzle with a little bit of olive oil. And then I like to use a dark balsamic on this. You could use a white balsamic, you could use an apple cider vinegar. I just like the flavor of that one. And then I always like to add 2 drops of lemon and 1 drop of basil. Now there's a couple ways that I like to do this. We're just gonna go with the basic appetizer. You can also grill some bread and put a little bit of feta on it, or Parmesan cheese, or goat cheese, mozzarella, and then top it. I like it just plain. And there we go. Tomato basil bruschetta.
Buying locally grown produce is not only a healthy choice, but a great way to support our UP farming community. The Marquette Food Co-op does this in a variety of ways.
So at the Marquette Food Co-op, we support anyone doing any type of agriculture and are very excited about all forms of agriculture happening. However, when we are purchasing the produce for here within the store, we want to focus on organic production. That's something that our customers are looking for, and it's something that we do believe in. So our local farmers, many of them are too small to make it worthwhile to pay for the certification that goes along with organic. They do, however, have an inspection by a Marquette Food Co-op employee that looks over their practices, both for food safety and for organic production. So when you come into the store, you won't see that many of the local producers have that organic certification, but you can see all kinds of other certifications. Maybe they are meat verified, which says that they're really taking extra care to the environment with their practices. Maybe they're certified naturally grown, which is similar to organic certification, but is a peer-reviewed certification where other farmers are doing the review process. Or maybe they don't have a certification at all, but you know when you're coming into the co-op that there is that extra level of attention being paid to the food that's coming in. We also are open to other forms of agriculture with other products in the store. Another way in which we support local is through our annual farm tours. So we work with our vendors. They open up their farm for a set time on a Sunday throughout the summer, and people can go and visit a whole range of farms. So you can see everything from a flower producing farm to a diversified farm that has 15 different things going on, to one that specializes in meat or producing honey or producing eggs. We want people to be able to connect with their food, to know where their food comes from, and to have a better understanding of what it takes to produce food. A lot of times nowadays, we really don't understand how much sweat is involved, how much money is involved to produce that bunch of carrots that you grab and put on your dinner table. By visiting the area farms, you'll get a much better sense of what it looks like and what agriculture is like here in the Upper Peninsula. One of the other ways that the Marquette Food Co-op traditionally supported local was through the production of a UP food and farm guide. This was to enable customers to better be able to find local food in all the different avenues. Not just the Marquette Food Co-op, but other grocery stores, restaurants, farmers markets, even community gardens. We have since handed off this project to an organization called Taste the Local Difference. And we work with them every year to get them farmers that can get into their guide, to help distribute this guide, and to promote local food. So you can actually pick up a copy of Taste the Local Difference, your guide to food and farming all across the UP here in the store, or directly through Taste the Local Difference and through different avenues throughout the Upper Peninsula. This is a great thing for when you're traveling. If you're visiting other parts of Michigan, you can pick up a copy that is specific to that region and find out all the fun local food places to visit. So because local means the entire UP to the Marquette Food Co-op, you'll actually find local products from all over the place. We have maple syrup that's coming from as far away as Rudyard. We have mead that's produced in the Keweenaw, and many more products. So while a lot of the fresh produce might be coming from here in the central Upper Peninsula, if you look on the shelves here at the store or in our meat and seafood department, you're going to see things from all across the Upper Peninsula. So another way that the Marquette Food Co-op supports local is through education of the community. We hold a wide variety of cooking classes, but no matter what part of the world we might be cooking from, we'll prioritize purchasing local and talking about local. We like to say, think globally, but buy locally with our cooking classes. We have this handy brochure that is available online at our website that has all of our classes listed. And one that's really exciting that's coming up is that we're going to be down at the downtown Marquette Farmers Market with a winter squash tasting on Saturday, October 20th. People can come down where we will have pre-cooked batches of squash of all kinds for people to taste. What we want people to know about is that there's more than acorn and butternut squash out there, and our local farmers are growing a wide variety of absolutely delicious and beautiful to look at squashes. So whether you're going to the farmer's market or you're coming here to the store, you'll find that wide variety available for sale, and you'll find information to help you learn what it tastes like, how to cook it, how to store it, and how best to use it. And you can look at our squash guide here as an example of what to do with that winter squash. If you'd like to know more about the co-op and our other practices and community events that we're hosting, feel free to come to our free Getting to Know Your Co-op class. There you'll learn more about the inner workings of the Marquette Food Co-op, get to taste a bunch of free samples, and can ask any questions you want. The next class is going to be on Wednesday, October 10th at 6 p.m. You can find more information online at marquettefood.coop.
We're back in the kitchen to see if we can build up your appetite for something fresh.
So now we're going to clean some more basil, pull some more basil off, and we're going to make a sun-dried tomato and basil pesto. So we're going to use a little bit of garlic, a little Parmesan cheese, basil, and sun-dried tomatoes, a little bit of olive oil, and that's it. Another one that's really simple, just a few ingredients, really fresh, and that you can use on pasta, you could use it on chicken, potatoes. You only need a little tiny bit because all of these flavors are really, really strong, really flavorful, so you don't need a whole lot. And some of these leaves aren't perfect looking. They're fine to use. We have to get over the perfect apple, perfect tomato. Sometimes the ugly fruit and the ugly produce is just as good, if not better. And I'm using just the leaves. I'm not using any of the stems. Again, that'll change the flavor of it a bit. A nice way to utilize your basil if you're not going to process all of it and make like a bruschetta or use it to cook with and stuff. So you take the basil, grind it all up in the food processor like we're going to do, cover it with olive oil, and put it into an ice cube tray and freeze it and keep it in there. Then you can pop them out and put it in a Ziploc bag, and when you want fresh basil or a fresh flavor, you can just add it to soup. You could add it to a pot of spaghetti sauce, use it to make a pizza. all those kinds of things. Because like I said before, the basil's not gonna last really long. It's gonna degrade really quick within a couple of days. So when it comes in and you've got a bounty like this, we wanna process it and use it right away and get it to where we can save it and use it for the winter. Okay, so I've got about, I don't know, a cup and a half of basil leaves, and I've got a giant clove of garlic. So I'm just gonna kind of rough chop this, and it's all gonna go in the food processor. This one is so easy. A little bit of a wedge of Parmesan, and I cut this up. So we're gonna utilize a large clove of garlic, about a 1-inch piece of Parmesan cheese. Whiz this up first. Now we're gonna pack it full of the fresh basil. And get all of this in here. If we wanted to, we could leave it just like this and add some olive oil and have just a garlic basil sauce. But I'm gonna add a few chopped sun-dried tomatoes and then a little bit of herb oil that the tomatoes are in, and we'll have a completely different sauce. I like the tartness from the tomatoes. I'm gonna add just a little tiny bit of salt and pepper. We're getting a little bit of saltiness from the Parmesan, but I always like to add just a little tiny bit and brighten it. We're just gonna add a little bit of olive oil while it's running to create the consistency that we need. We just wanted like a little bit of a paste that we can just stir into noodles or over potatoes, top a piece of chicken with it. Not too much olive oil. We don't want it really runny like a dressing. We want it more of a spread. So there again, we got a beautiful green color in those. And there we go.
Well, that's it for this week. Be sure to check out 906outdoors.com, where you'll find the 906 Fishing Report, TV6 weather, shopping, and more. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next week, right here on Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.